Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Story. Let's start our video with a story about a group of customers at a movie theater. Despite their initial arrogance, their misadventures brought a bit of humor to the situation. It goes to show that sometimes even the most frustrating moments can turn out to be amusing in the end. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Don't give me directions, I know where I'm going. Years ago, I used to work in a movie theater that served food. I was a waitress. A little bit of background, the women's bathroom is right next to Theater 13. The sign's right between the doors for the bathroom and the theater. We never have issues because people can tell which is which. Theater 12 and 13 are right next to each other. The sign for Theater 12 is right between the doors for 12 and 13. This sign does confuse people since it's hard to tell which door it's referencing. One night I was working and saw some customers walk up. I greeted them and asked what theater they were looking for. They stated they were looking for Theater 13. I pointed them to the door for Theater 13. The customers started yelling at me, saying I was lying, and they know because they've been here before and they know where the theaters are. I said something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you'd spent so much time here and knew where everything was." Clearly, they knew my place of employment better than me. What was I thinking? I went off to the corner where my coworkers and I were doing paperwork and watched as they looked around very confused. They walked into Theater 12, then realized it was the wrong movie. They looked around for a few minutes, more confused. They checked Theaters 1 and 2. My coworkers were talking, and one of them is way less petty than me and started to feel bad for them. I told him not to help them. I didn't feel bad since he was rude and stated he could find it himself. After 5 minutes of wandering around, the 3 men walked into the women's bathroom. The women started screaming at them. I fell over laughing. My coworker couldn't take it anymore. He went over and pointed them to the same door I had earlier. This time the men were nice and thanked him. They went inside the theater. About 5 minutes later, someone in Theater 13 hit the call light. The light is labeled Press for Service. I was the server assigned to that theater. I came in and saw it was the same group. They immediately got mad and asked why I was bothering them. I showed them their help light was on. I turned the light off. This is one of the strictest rules we had to follow. Get to lights and turn off light immediately while helping the customer. He got mad and turned it back on. He then told me that the light is what reclines the chair. I told him the chairs don't recline. He continues hitting the light, turning it on and off, trying to recline the chair. He started searching for other buttons when that didn't work. Then he got really dumb and stuck both his hands in between the seat cushions. Those seats were never cleaned, and this restaurant was not very clean in general. I've had to search in those cushions for missing credit cards. Then they're so filthy. I saw the look of instant regret cover his face, and he removed his hands, now sticky, and held them up. I couldn't resist, so I said, "Well, at least you know where the bathroom is," and I walked out. Yes, I know, I was unprofessional. I was treated horribly at that job. They did some very illegal stuff. I was beat down and didn't care anymore. Thankfully, I found a new job. The company filed bankruptcy a couple years ago, and I was happy to see them close down. You may well have been unprofessional, but you were probably far nicer to them than they deserved. Hats off to you. And our second story. Second massive party in 3 months. Police called. Time to get petty. Hey guys and girls, big setup for some very petty revenge close to the end of this. It's been quiet, a little too quiet. There's a family who live 2 floors above me in an apartment block who have managed to piss everyone off by having a massive party that got out of control almost 3 months ago. I got home today around 5 p.m. from the gym and can hear them on their balcony making a lot of noise. I push it out of my mind and go about having a shower, making some dinner, making the dog some dinner, watching a little Netflix, getting ready for an early night as I have to get up at 3 a.m. the next morning. I put some earplugs in, close my eyes, and drift off to sleep. Boom! A massive crash wakes me up. I bolt upright in bed and groggily check my phone. 10 p.m. I make my way from the bedroom to the backyard. To get to my backyard, you have to open a big sliding glass door, which is also surrounded by floor-to-wall glass windows that allow me an unobstructed view of the backyard. I open the door and see a soccer ball sitting there and fresh imprint of the ball on one of my glass windows. Someone has thrown the ball down in the backyard. It's ricocheted off the backyard walk that separates my yard from the street and hit my window at force. I look up at the noisy neighbors on their balcony, and there are 4 kids screaming at the top of their lungs and throwing various bits of debris into my yard, plastic, bottles, a stray tennis ball. I yell to them, "Hey, be quiet, I'm trying to sleep." The kids rush inside, laughing. I go back inside only to hear them rush back out and continue throwing stuff into my yard and yelling. Fuming, I jump into the elevator and make my way up 2 flights and knock on the neighbor's door. I hear muffled voices giggle and say, "Shh, he's outside." More laughing, but the loud yelling and music continues. I knock again, loudly. Nothing. I make my way back downstairs, checking my phone. It's now getting close to 11 p.m. I call the police. I explain to the officer who answers about the noise level, the screaming kids, the fact they're throwing all types of stuff into my yard, potentially damaging my property. I also point out if he runs my name and address, he'll see previous complaints against these people. The officer confirms that he's seen several complaints from me and other tenants in the building, and he's looking up the past complaints. He asks, "Is that them?" He can't hear the screaming and music. Me: "Yes, officer, I'll send a car over right now." I sit back and wait, and wait, and wait. Checking my phone, it's now 11:55 p.m. I go to the front security door and ring the buzzer. I can hear the obnoxious shrill buzzing reverberate in the apartment. A woman picks up. Woman: "Hello?" Me: "Yeah, can you keep it down, please? It's almost midnight." Woman: "Who is this?" Me: "It doesn't matter. Just keep it down, please." Woman: "Oh, okay," and hangs up. I sit and wait. Someone turns the music up louder. I ring their buzzer again and again. A young male voice answers. Male: "What?" Me: "If you don't stop, next call is to the police." Male: "You can threaten us all you want. We don't care." Me: "I'm not threatening. If you don't stop this, I'm calling the police." Male: "We have friends over. We're going to be as loud as we want for as long as we want." Frustrated, I go back down to my apartment, put on a movie, and wait for the police. I'm startled awake by my own apartment buzzer. I walk over and answer it. It's the police. I look at the time. It's 1 a.m. I'm annoyed it's taken them so long, and the upstairs neighbors are still raging on. I open the door and await the officers as they make their way down. Immediately, they're sympathetic. They can see I'm exhausted and hear the noise. I explain everything to them. The male officer explains that even though they're owners, they need to abide by noise ordinance laws and also the bylaws of the building commission. He takes my statement, asks what apartment number they're in, bids me good night, and heads up to speak to them. I hear them knocking on their door. No answer. Police: "It's the police. Open up." I hear the door open, music's finally turned down, and what ensues is a 30-minute conversation of the neighbors saying that they're owners and can do whatever they want. The police quickly shut them down, saying they are disturbing the peace and violating various other codes and laws. Finally, the police leave at 1:45 a.m., and there's silence in the apartment block. Now for the petty revenge. 2 days later, I'm heading out to walk my dog, and I can hear someone pressing a buzzer over and over again. I get to the front security door. It's the male that answered the buzzer that night, holding coffees, and has obviously locked himself out. He looks annoyed and has probably been out there for ages. He sees me coming, and relief washes over his face. He'll be able to get through the locked security door as I make my way outside. Or so he thinks. I crack the security door open, let my dog through first, and then I slip through quickly. He bends down to pick up a small bag of goods, and as he's about to walk through, I slam the security door, locking him outside. He literally stands there, shocked, and also pissed off. I smile down at my dog as we go for a very long walk. Take that, you jackwagon. And our next story. I am not your slave or here for your convenience. I used to live in a decent suburban neighborhood, not expensive, but safe and generally with decent people. The people you could trust to keep their eyes out for anything if you left for the weekend. You'd help each other with small things because that's what neighbors did, generally. Let me introduce you to my neighbor, Karen. She had money, so in her mind, she ruled over the rest of us peasants. I was obviously free to do her bidding since I was lazy enough to work 2 part-time jobs, both an hour away, rather than finding one full-time one. Saying no to this woman's demands in her head equaled offer a tiny bit of money, because poverty. Reject that tiny bit of money equaled guilt trip attempt. She had huge slobbering dog with terrible manners. She hadn't trained it, and I didn't like it at all. She wanted to go on a month vacation but didn't want to bring the creature, leave it with friends, or board him. No, she wanted to keep him home and have me walk him twice a day, feed him twice a day, and clean up the mess he was sure to cause, because what dog could last all day without using the bathroom? That for a month. It would entail me getting up even earlier and working around my already busy schedule for a grand total of $50. That's right, $50. The first no was followed by a reassurance that he would be no trouble and her walking off. My flat-out telling her the next time I saw her resulted in telling me that with my lack of full-time work, $50 was great, and her walking off. The third time of me directly telling her no, I wasn't going to do it, ended with me offering to let animal control know that the dog was being abandoned, as I wasn't doing anything. That left me in blissful silence from her the rest of my stay there. Lots of pouting that I ignored. Stupid entitled woman. And our last story. Tow company destroyed my car. This is the first new vehicle I've ever purchased in my life, and when I received the license plate in the mail, I didn't know I had to attach the registration sticker to the license plate. My apartment complex has my brand new Elantra towed because of this. The car was obviously brand new, and I had a new parking permit attached to the vehicle as well. Woke up my car, was gone from my apartment complex, find out it was towed due to sticker. I'm pissed, but I think, okay, it's the $200 fee plus the Uber there, whatever. At the tow shack, all the cars are parked behind a big building, and they gave me the release form to sign before I could even access my vehicle. I sign, pay, and drive down the road. I pull over to inspect the car. At first, I see some light dents and dings on the driver's side tire area, and then I walk around and see above the passenger tire area, completely destroyed, dented, deep gashes. I call the tow company immediately. This is no more than 10 minutes after signing that piece of paper. The guy asked me to email him photos of the damage, and he laughs and says, "Wow, looks like an alligator attacked your car. You already signed the release." I hang up. I go to an auto body shop, and they give me an estimate of $1,500 in damage to replace the skirt, repair, and repaint. The body shop specifically wrote and highlighted on their estimate that it seems to be bad towing, said they would write a statement for small claims court. I call the tow company, speak to the owner. I explain that in less than a day of having my vehicle in their possession, my car was damaged by you, and the body shop agrees. And this is where it gets weird. I followed you to the shop, I parked right next to you in the black BMW and saw you talking to the big white guy. You signed the release, I'm not paying. Sue me. I didn't feel safe after that conversation, but the police said they can't do anything unless the stalking becomes a pattern and to call 911 next time. Okay. I went to small claims court at 4 p.m., but they closed at 4:15, so I have everything ready to file in the morning. It's amazing how horrible people can be. This towing company sounds like a real piece of work. It's obvious that the towing company did this. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.